これがタウンズワールド。パソコンの中に遊園地があるみたい。
ハイパーメディアパソコン富士通 FM タウンズ。
広がる広がる
富士通。
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica. Today's episode, we're actually going to be doing a combo episode of Turbo Outrun and Chase HQ on the FM Towns Marty. I put these two episodes together because as far as gameplay is concerned, they are very similar to each other. What we're starting to take a look at right now is Turbo Outrun, released in 1989 for the arcades by Sega. They brought this home to the FM Towns Marty, a company called CRI, ported it over. In the arcades, it was both a standalone cabinet as well as an upgrade kit to the original Outrun. Feature-wise, what it did is it added a couple different things. Obviously, the graphics have been improved. You also have an opponent car that you can chase against. You have a police car that's going to chase you and try to hit you off the road. And you also have a turbo feature, which is obviously the namesake of the game itself. I don't use it in the playthrough because I don't believe the button is mapped to the FM Towns Marty controller. Similar problem with Chase HQ is that the turbo button is actually mapped to the keyboard, so you have to have a keyboard plugged in to use the turbo function, so it's definitely something that's a little bit weird about this game in general. My copy costs around $100. I definitely do recommend it if you own a Towns or Towns Marty. It isn't arcade perfect. There's definitely a lot of reduced sprites on the left and right side of the course, so that is something you want to look out for. The best version to play of this game is going to be emulated via MAME, so if you want to emulate it, by all means go for it. You're going to have a really good experience. As far as 2D versions of Outrun are concerned, this game is my favorite. My favorite Outrun game is Outrun on the Xbox. That's definitely something, if you haven't played, pick it up, trust me. Obviously we're talking about the Marty version right now, so I shouldn't get too much into an Xbox version, but this is definitely a game that you should experience for sure. It's classic 2D car racing. Outrun's a well-known series. Definitely something that you're going to enjoy if you do pick it up. Unfortunately, I wish it was a little closer to Arcade Perfect. It's definitely the best home version you're going to get, unless you're using an emulator like MAME, but it definitely removes a lot of sprites from the left and right hand side of the screen that aid in showing the arcade version having that sense of speed. This definitely does feel fast, but not as fast as that arcade version, so it is something that I do miss. But like I said, if you want to own a physical copy for your collection and you have an FM Towns or Marty, I definitely 100% say pick this up. So what you'll see at the end of each segment is you get a stage up feature. What you're going to be able to do is add a component to your car to improve it. You can increase the engine power, you can get better gripping tires, or you can get a turbo. Didn't pick the turbo just because I can't figure out how to use the turbo in the first place, so I went with that higher engine power. So now we're in Chicago, which is where I live. Definitely that background doesn't look exactly like Chicago. I've seen the skyline many times and it doesn't look like anything I'm familiar with, but we'll just kind of pretend that it's definitely Chicago. But I'll let you guys watch the rest of the playthrough of Outrun, and then we'll come back and talk about Chase HQ, how similar it is to this game, and kind of the racing games that are available on the FM Towns and Marty. So enjoy the rest of the Outrun playthrough, and we'll be back in about a minute to talk about Chase HQ. And that, in essence, is Turbo Outrun. You're going to see I'm going to come around the corner here, and the game is going to abruptly stop when I run out of time. You don't really get much of a warning, and 0, and there is game over. But we're going to go right into Chase HQ now that we've gotten that game over in Turbo Outrun. I would say that Turbo Outrun is my preferred game on the FM Towns. Chase HQ is a great game as well, but it's definitely a lot shorter. You can beat this from start to finish in about 15 minutes. Goal of Chase HQ compared to Turbo Outrun is that you actually have enemy cars that you need to catch up to and destroy. Once you look at the two guys that are in the car, I'm not sure if it's completely ripping off Lethal Weapon or Miami Vice or kind of ripping them both off slightly. What the first thing you're going to notice is that glitchy bar running across the entire screen. I ran this both on my solid state emulator as well as my original disc, and that bar appears in both versions. So it's definitely a glitched version, which is slightly unfortunate. I think the most unfortunate part of Chase HQ on the FM Towns platform is just how little they added to the game from the arcade. They literally added nothing, so you can finish this game entirely within 15 minutes. The most unfortunate part, though, is that without a keyboard, you cannot use the turbo function. I have tried every key on the FM Towns Marty controller, and nothing works. It's a well-known fact that you actually have to push a button on the keyboard to be able to use your turbo. It's got to be the most perplexing coding decision ever made to have two different controllers needed to use every button the game requires to play through. Oh well, like I said, you can beat it without it, but it is a strange situation. I definitely enjoy Chase HQ. It is a bit short, and that's why I'm actually, as much as I love this version of the game on the FM Towns, recommending the Saturn version, which is about the same price. It's going to run you around $100, which you could get Chase HQ for the FM Towns on a good day. But for that disc, it also comes with SCI. A little off topic, definitely think that's Miami Vice Cops right there. It's just what it looks like to me. But for the Saturn, when you get Chase HQ, you also get SCI, or Special Criminal Investigation, which is the sequel to Chase HQ. So for the same money, you're getting an arcade perfect port of Chase HQ, as well as its sequel. But as far as Turbo Outrun and Chase HQ are concerned, these two games are indicative of that classic late 80s, early 90s 2D racing game that we had in arcades and that we were able to play at home. So both of these games are definitely near and dear to my heart because they are what I grew up on. Interestingly enough, there is a sequel to Chase HQ, Chase HQ 2, obviously not very creative with the naming convention, but that ran on the Taito Type X2 arcade platform, which, if you know anything about the X series of Taito boards, that is just a computer, Windows XP, with computer software wrapped up in it with some encryption and other semi-custom parts. But that game has been completely decrypted, and you can download it and play it on your PC as a native game. So that is definitely something I recommend you check out. It's an excellent sequel to it. It's kind of funny that it took almost 20 some odd years to get an actual sequel to the game, and then they didn't even bring it home. It could have been like an Xbox Live Arcade release or something, $10 downloadable game, but you can at least still download it to your computer and play it. So Chase HQ, maybe we'll get a third game in the series, be something awesome in maybe VR. But other than that, I'll let you guys watch the rest of the playthrough. Thanks so much for watching. If you can go down below, hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. It definitely helps us out. We work really hard on making all these episodes, and we'll be back next week with some more good content. Otherwise, you can follow us at Instagram at Chicago Game Collector. But thanks so much for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
こちらなし。はい、手足早いわよ。どうぞ。ワンモアトライね。Yo.